Hello, Dave. Today is Sunday, May 22nd, 2022. I am the Bro 9000 and I trust you are all functioning well today. Hello, everybody. I'm Mr. Brown. Welcome to the show. Going to try and do a quickie today just to, get the news from this week. Discuss what's been going on. Obviously, more Musk news and a few other little bits and bats that dropped. So let's start as we mean to go on then. The guests are waiting. Shall we get the bodies out? I think we should. Here he is. Sometimes you just have to slum it with the peasants. It is Lord Cord.
Hello there.
Hello. You all right, pal?
I am okay, thank you. How are you?
Not too bad. Legs are tired. I did 40 miles on the push bike before I came on, but there you go.
Jesus, that sounds horrific.
God, there was a time before lockdown I could have just done that and not batted an eyelid. But anyway. So you well? Channel going good, yes?
Channel is going good. We've added 20,
Go rub it in, son.
70 or 80 subscribers in the last 3 days. So we're up to 1,600, and 90 something. So it's going nicely, and I don't even have to do any work for these ones. So yeah, it's momentum. Momentum is a nice thing.
I got 1 sub today.
Everyone counts. Every little helps.
They do. Can I steal some of yours?
I mean, you can try.
How's Oscar? Is he all right?
I assume so. I haven't spoken to him for a while. I think we were going to do a stream earlier today, but for reasons unstated, it didn't happen. So I'm assuming he's fine.
It's probably those beef dinners he's into.
Quite possibly.
So you're well. Shall we get I would say the only body we've got left. Shall we get him out?
Why not? Go ahead.
Last but by no means least, he's the wise elder of the channel, writer, portal director, paid up member of the Self-Use Appreciation Society. I will look that up eventually. He is the great mega geek himself. It is Ian David Diaz.
Hello.
Right,
I'm here. No need to worry now because I'm here.
He's here, everybody.
Yeah.
You good, buddy?
Yeah, I'm all right. It's yeah. I haven't been riding a push bike, but I have been running, so my knees hurt. So
oh, good man. Yeah, my knees were hurting a little bit because I've just not done the weight training and stuff for the past 2 years. I think it's just catching up. But anyway, right. Shall we just get into it, boys?
Let's
I'll
get
just say hello to the chat, by the way. Okay, so end of week musings, May 22nd. Smallest possible font. Please like, share, and subscribe. The subscribe thing is quite important. Please. I know the boys in the chat are subbed, but anybody watching this on the re-rub would be quite useful.
I think I saw this when I last got my eyes tested. It was like the bottom example when the text gets really small.
Well, if you can read that, if you can read that, folks, you don't need to go to the opticians. You're welcome.
They said that on Spaceballs, didn't they, when the writing was going up right towards the ending? So if you can read this, you don't need glasses. That's what they said.
Yeah. So if you can read that, I've saved you 20 quid. Okay, here we go.
Oh dear.
I think this dropped early in the week because I did this because I was super efficient this week. It just seems like a lifetime ago I did these, but yeah. Oh, who's looking forward to this?
I'm not going to be watching it. You know what? I say this a lot, but the thing is, though, I am deadly serious about this. I don't want the image of the stuff that I grew up with tainted anymore by stupid people that are in charge now. So, and also, if I do watch this, it's supporting stuff that I don't like, and I don't really want to support stuff that I don't like. But if people want to watch this, feel free. But I can only speak for myself.
I have entered this weird state where I actually kind of am looking forward to it. I know it's going to be abysmal, but it might just be entertainingly awful. And now that's sort of the best you can hope for. It's not, I'm going to go and see a film that will actually do anything for me in terms of story or plot or message or meaning or be well crafted. It's, I wonder what brand new, hilariously incompetent ways they can find to fuck this up that I get to make a video about next. And that's basically the only reason I watch films these days, unless I'm going back to something that was made in the 70s, which is sort of miserable, but you have to laugh, otherwise you cry.
Well, somebody said once that it's a chance for independent filmmakers, the ones with money, of course, to actually make films that people want to go and see, you know, big action
Definitely.
movies and stuff like that. And they would wipe the floor with this nonsense that's going on with our entertainment.
They would.
So I hope somebody out there is listening who has a shitload of money. They can do it.
Or,
Yeah.
as we've said before, alternatively make it in South Korea,
Yeah, get the Koreans to do it.
India.
Yeah, I mean, you can do that, but you still, if you're an independent filmmaker, you can still, and you've got a lot of money, you can still hire big stars and make sure
Yeah.
that the script is, you know, respects the audience, so to speak. So, yeah, let's hope we'll do that.
I think, as I've said before, films made in, because I recently watched Tokyo Vice, which was made in Japan, and it was fantastic. No woke at all. South Korea, Japan, anywhere like that. Get
Do you
a
know
few
what?
of the big stars in.
I was going
Away
to
you
watch
go.
it because it's on Amazon, Ian. It's on Amazon, but I
Oh,
have
is
to
it?
pay to. Yeah, I have to pay to watch it, so I didn't watch it. I'm not going to
Um,
pay to see something
it
that
is
I
going to be
don't
on the
know about.
BBC.
Oh, is it?
I
Okay.
think it's this. I think it might be this week. I'll just say hello, Jacob. Thanks for popping in, mate. Yeah, I think Tokyo Vice is this week on BBC, so it will be on the iPlayer. So
Okay.
look out for that. Great
Uh,
program.
yeah, I don't want to pay for the iPlayer though. It's BBC in it. That
Oh, have you not
everything
got a
that's woke.
license?
No, yeah, no. My mum, the license is free for us because my mum's
Yeah.
over 70. So
No, it used to
yeah.
be.
No. It's gone back now. It's reverted back. My mum's in her
Was it?
80s. Yeah, so she gets like the BBC license free. So yeah, so
Oh,
I can watch BBC if I
my
want.
father had to pay this year's.
No, my mum doesn't have to pay a penny. So there you go. I don't know what's happening down
Oh,
your
right,
end.
okay.
Yeah, doesn't.
All right, okay.
They sent her red letters and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and then I told my mum to ignore it, and then they sent another letter saying she's eligible to have it for free. Maybe the age has
Could
gone
be
up to
means
80.
testing, maybe. I don't know.
I
Well,
don't
my
know.
old man's 94.
Oh well, he should get it for free then.
All right, okay, because they took it off the Andy Mouse says my old dear gets it for free too. Oh, okay,
Yeah,
maybe they've reverted back. Maybe
I think
there's
they have.
bit much of too much of a stink, and they've gone.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so I think they have.
76.
Mm,
Yeah, I know he paid. I think it was August last year he paid for it. So I would
shouldn't have.
imagine this year's will be free then.
Mm.
Ugh, cheeky buggers. I'm not going to go see this because I recently cancelled my cinema card because I just never went.
Oh, Cineworld.
Yeah,
Mm.
and to be fair, there's nothing on.
I don't know. I went to see Everything Everywhere with Michelle Yeoh. It's a terrible movie.
Yeah.
Absolutely awful.
So I'd heard some good things about that. I've not seen it.
It's not. It's really bad. It's so convoluted, right, that you just give up on it. It really is something that they could have easily made that simple for you to understand. Well, I did understand what's going on, put it that way, but I just thought it was so convoluted. And they tried to make jokes out of. Basically what they're trying to do is trying to make it very intelligent, and they make these stupid jokes out of certain things, and it's not funny. So I mean, a spoiler here. There's one scene where both of them turn into a rock, and it's just subtitles, two rocks talking to each other, and that's stupid. It's stupid. It's not funny. It's just stupid, and it goes on forever. You're just sitting there looking at these two rocks, talking, and it's just like, what the hell's this about, you know? I took my mum to see it because I explained to my mum it's about multi-universe and stuff. She understood that, but when we went to see it, she was totally confused, and I got to admit, I was confused as well
God.
at one point. I wanted to see it because Short Round's in it. You know, the guy played Short Round in Indiana Jones and the Temple of
The
Doom.
stuntman.
He plays Michelle Yeoh's husband.
Oh,
And it just didn't work for me because he looks a little younger than her. You know, I was like, does this work? You know,
I don't
anyway,
know about
whatever.
Michelle Yeoh.
I like me when
She's
Michelle
probably got
Yeoh was in her
tainted with the
prime.
Discovery shit. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, definitely. But I did like her before all this crap. I thought she was really good. Yeah.
As I was saying about I'm not going to go see this because it's going to cost me like 12, 13 quid to go see it. And nah, I'm going to save my money for Top Gun Maverick.
Speaking of guns, I mean, I need to go and see it just to make sure that my guns are still bigger than Natalie Portman's. Which would be really embarrassing if they're not.
Do you think they're prosthetic arms she's got there?
It doesn't look quite natural, does it?
I don't know. With the correct training and diet, it's possible.
But you know, you can always tell when somebody's got something prosthetic on because the joint, they always cover it up with something. So you can see she's got armbands on. So if it is a prosthetic arm, the armbands will cover up the joint between the wrist and the hand. It's just like when Hemsworth was wearing the fat suit. The joint between the stomach and the and the waist was obviously covered by the trousers, and you never saw the back because the back I think at the back he had the zip. That kind of puts him in that fat suit thing. Jesus. So you never saw the back, or did you? I think in one scene you saw the back because they must have done CGI to cover the zip. But that's what I'm saying. It's a dead giveaway because that she's got armbands on, so maybe they are prosthetic arms. Who knows? I don't
know. I don't know. It's, as I said, the correct training, diet, supplements.
What's her name? Who's the girl on the left? She looks like she's buffed up. That looks like her real arms.
Tessa Thompson.
She's TT. It's her. They're an item, aren't they?
What, YTTTT, where his name is?
And her, yes.
Really? Oh, good luck to them.
Yeah, but he's doing a girl at the same time. Jonathan Frost, you'll be able to tell in HD the texture will be off.
Yeah. I mean, what's his name? His fat suit looked really good. Looked like it was part of him. You know, it's amazing what they can do these days. You know, technology-wise.
Yeah, I think Portman. I think it's real. Personally, but that's just me.
I do like Portman though. She's an outstanding actress.
Quite like looking butch like that. But moving on. Okay, so let's see what's next. Oh.
Is that a girl with glasses, or is that a boy?
It's an actress who couldn't get work to save her life, and then she identified as non-binary, and then the work just came flooding in. Can you believe it?
Funny how that happens.
Okay, and I hate when they have sets like that where they just have random lights in the background, and they're just random. Do you know what I mean?
I will say a question: spot the white man.
He's in the background.
Second from the left.
Left, yeah.
What is it though?
He might be Asian. You never know.
It's just that is what I imagine like Twitter's boardroom looks like, or an HR department at any given company, or the writer's room at Disney. It just screams upper middle class, entitled, overeducated, underinformed, very left-leaning idiots who are very fashionable with all their opinions. It looks like one of my old lecture rooms. It's
So that girl with the glasses, she's still got boobies. Looks like she's still got a bit of boobies there.
I don't know.
Interesting. And she's got tattoos on her fingers. Does that look like was that rings? What's that on
Is there anybody on this planet who think that looks good?
No, it looks cheap as well. I said the set looks really cheap. It doesn't look like it's functioning. It just looks like it's there because it looks okay, but it just looks like a Buck Rogers set, doesn't it? You remember Buck Rogers?
Yeah.
They used to have like
Who
loads of little
doesn't?
lights that blinked and stuff, and the sets when they couldn't give you good sets. So I don't know. It looks really cheap. I don't know about you
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah. I was trying to place where I've seen the kind of look before, and I think that I remember there's like a cartoon with a character like that, and he has a dog, like a white dog. Can't remember the name of the cartoon character, but Time Prophet looks like a female Harry Potter.
Yeah, it does a bit. Yeah, it does a bit.
It could be
Jonathan
like an
Frost.
advert for something, maybe, because you've
Mm.
got the interracial relationship and then you've got the trans relationship, and that's basically 98% of all modern adverts for everything these days. So
Yeah, but the thing is, though, even if these actors, even if, like, say, for instance, Eddie is Hudson, is his name Eddie Hudson, isn't it?
Ernie.
Ernie Hudson. Even if he disagrees with all this stuff that they're pushing out on TV shows, he's going to do it for the money. He's not going to care. He's just gonna ride the wave in, isn't he?
Yeah, as I said before we came on air, Critical Drinker, because I mod for his channel, they were discussing putting a GoFundMe together so Ernie Hudson doesn't have to take this series. Because I just think this is going to be shite, isn't it?
Well,
And he's selling himself short.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The thing is, though, they're hooked into the system, and they need work. So that's why I'm assuming that's why Eddie Hudson's doing it, and
to pay
he doesn't really
bills.
care about them. Yeah, and I don't blame him. I don't blame him.
Okay,
it's fair enough.
Captain Fandom Nerd, hail, new face, hail, my friend. Thank you for popping in. Melvin, hello, Melvin. Daniel Radcliffe looks less masculine. Yeah, I think it's because he's bleached his hair.
Yeah. Yeah.
God,
oh well.
Shit.
Well, just let them do their thing. That's all I can say. Let them do their thing. It's fine. I'm not going to be watching. I'm pretty. I assume that people are going to be watching out of curiosity. I can't believe the Equalizer is still going with.
I know people are lapping that up, aren't they?
I thought it was rubbish, but if people like it.
Lord, the gender neutral one looks like your the Lord Chord's news round.
Trap cord, yes, it does a little bit.
Anyway, moving on.
Except without the glasses. Maybe I'll add the glasses.
Yeah.
Who saw the trailer for this?
I did.
Yes.
What did you think?
I do like the actress though, Titania, whatever her name is. I can't remember her name. But
Titania, isn't that's Critical Drinkers?
Yeah,
girl,
Tatiana, I think. Yeah,
Tatiana.
I imagine he's going to drop her after he realizes that she's become a great green rage monster.
He's not even put 2 and 2 together yet on that. So you
but
first,
maybe he's into that kind of thing.
I do like her because she's a brilliant actress. You should see her in that show, Orphan Black. She plays so many parts and does it incredibly well. The accents and everything. Really, I don't know if you've seen Orphan Black, you guys. Seen Orphan Black?
No, I don't think so.
So Orphan Black is about a character that is on the tube station one day, and she looks across and she sees someone that looks exactly like her, and she jumps in front of the train and commits suicide. But it turns out that she's been cloned, so she sets out to find all her clones, and she plays multiple parts, and she plays them very well. So she's a brilliant actress. I don't know why she got dragged into this though.
It's this weird thing they do as well, isn't it? Where they get in genuinely talented actors and actresses, and then they put so much first makeup and then CGI on them that it's physically impossible to act through all of that. So I know we had the Mrs. Shrek comment in the chat, but actually Shrek was probably more animated and lifelike than the effects we've seen from the trailer of She-Hulk. Doesn't matter how good an actress she is, because it looks so awful, and the entire face is CG that you can't see an expression. They did it with Idris Elba in whichever that god awful Star Trek film was, the Fast and Furious.
Oh
one.
yeah.
Beyond.
And again, like you can't act through that level of CGI. So why not just find some random guy at backstage and don't like put him up in CGI instead? Exactly the same effect will happen.
You go in. Time Prophet. He's watched all 4 seasons.
Yeah, I did like it. And in those days, right, one of her best friends was gay, you know, and it had some really good, cool action in there and stuff. It's a really good show. I think it's Canada and the BBC Canada and BBC made that show.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's quite good.
This is gonna be shit, isn't it?
Again, it's one of those that I will probably watch just to laugh at it because it looks like it could be unintentionally hilarious.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It could be so shit. It might be quite endearing.
But isn't it meant to be like because I heard because I've never read a She-Hulk comic. Doesn't she break the fourth wall in the comic?
Yes,
so is she going to break the fourth wall in this?
Yeah.
So it's not meant to be serious. It's meant to be quite humorous, isn't it? This show.
Yeah, and apparently the producers have tried to be as true to the comic as possible. Apparently.
Oh, but whenever they say that, just disbelieve automatically. And also, I mean, it's hard to tell the difference between a Marvel film that's trying to be funny and one that's trying to be serious these days because they are all exactly the same. And then what we've seen in the trailer of the type of humor that is going to be included in it, it is so on the nose, sort of metropolitan progressive. It's triggered by fear and anger. You're just describing the natural state of being a woman, mate. No, you're not. Don't do that. That's silly and it's obvious and not funny. So if that's your idea of humor,
Andy Mouse, was the comic popular? Apparently, Gary Nerdrotic thinks the She-Hulk comic is one of the best comics, and he loved it. Apparently,
I never read it, so I can't comment.
I think this could either be the biggest pile of dog shit or just maybe just win everybody over.
I think it won't be the latter.
Third or fourth biggest pile of dog shit.
Yeah.
Yes, there are bigger piles. I think there's a bigger pile coming this week, isn't there? So we
Top
shall
Gun
see.
Isn't out this week, is it?
It's what? Sorry,
Top Gun isn't out this week, is it?
Top Gun is out at the end of the week.
Oh, okay.
I think Top Gun Maverick is out Wednesday, and Obi-Wan is out this week.
Oh, that's the pile of shit you were referring to. Fair enough.
Yes. Top Gun Maverick has got good reviews.
Yes, I've seen.
Because it's cheesy and it's aimed for the audience and it plays up to the audience, tries to make the audience enjoy what's been screened.
Pure cinema.
And that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing at all. So there you go.
I've coined your pure cinema phrase, by the way.
Did I say that?
Yeah.
Or who said that? Oh, did I say that?
Yeah, because you know the kind of classic films we do on Saturday night.
Oh yeah.
Your buzzword last few weeks has been this is just pure cinema.
Well, glad to help. Glad to help.
Andy Mouse. Oh, never read it. Gary knows his onions. He does with the comics. I'll give him that. Okay, so genuinely, I think this will be interesting, this one. So anyway, moving on.
I can't watch it because I don't have Disney anymore. So there you go.
Life finds a way.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
Hopefully get some Velociraptors.
Yeah. Lots of pictures dropping this week and little videos and Instagram stuff of filming Doctor Who 60th.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, you know, I, if you were to follow everything that's been said and be a detective and calculate everything, it's all leading down the road of woke. But you know, there's a lot of fans that are hoping for the best, and quite rightly so too. But there's a huge rumor. I mean, Doomcock dropped a video recently about it, saying that Toby Stevens was the one that Sony wanted to go for. and they went for Cootie, whatever his name is. I can't remember his name. And
Shooty.
yeah, is that his name? Shooty. So they went for him, and he believes that the BBC has more control than everybody thinks over over Doctor Who.
Yeah.
So
Curtis James is a good actor. I just didn't ever really imagine him as a Doctor Who type. But
nor have I. But I think Sony's work, he's under contract with Sony. I think I'm not sure.
So wanted him. Yeah, they wanted him because of that. Yeah.
Yeah, but also the fact that there's a rumor that Jodie's going to change into David Tennant, and then it's going to go on from there, and then from there we're going to be introduced to the new Doctor. And something else just dropped today or yesterday or something as well about BBC's definitely saying that the first Doctor was Joe Martin Doctor.
Yes.
So they're making that canon as well. That's a good thing to actually get fans to disappear from the show. But they still want to push this narrative, don't they?
Here you go. Time Prophet. Keep Bernard Cribbins away from the woke mess. Yeah.
He's not going to say anything. He's just happy to be working.
Yeah.
Tennant's
still got it though, hasn't he? Looking at that.
Not really. Just one picture. You can never trust pictures these days. Let's see what he looks like. I mean, I've seen pictures of it. He does look a bit old. And I think the best person to get wouldn't have been Tennant, would have been the youngest, which is Matt. I should have got Matt, but David Tennant looks a bit. Even in the 50th Doctor, he looks a bit ropey in that as well, just a bit.
You think? Okay.
Yeah, he did. I mean, there's that scene in it where Matt's going, "That's proper skinny, that is," and I'm like, he's not skinny anymore. This is the 50th. It's been how many years since he played the Doctor? He's filled out a bit, So it's kind of weird that he said that. So there you go.
Time Prophet, First Doctor, Hartnell, Melvin. Fun fact. I remember
He was.
Bernard Cribbins was in was in one of the 1960s Peter Cushing's Doctor Who movies.
Yep, the first one.
His character had a different name though.
Yeah,
I remember watching them they used to play them on BBC One on a Saturday morning occasionally.
The reason why he can't be the same character because BBC don't own the rights to those films. So there you go.
Were they made by Hammer?
Yeah.
Right.
And it wasn't based on the BBC Doctor at all. So there you go.
Okay. So this will be interesting. I'm sure the 60th episode anniversary will do very, very well. And then bang.
Yep.
Yeah, never mind.
Anything to say, Lost Chord on the Who, Doctor Pooh?
No, I mean, honestly, a lot of this it's slightly passing me by. I just can't really bring myself to be all that bothered by it. Just looking at all of the news that's coming out, everything is adding up to be a pretty awful show, as we see here as well, when the casting decisions seem to be much more motivated on ticking boxes behind the scenes than they are necessarily picking the best people to play the best roles available. It will all rest on the writing. If they can write decent characters for these people, fine. But if they're only there because they're trans or they're black or they're gay, then no, that's just going to be the BBC continuing down its long and slow decline. And has it been cleared up yet whether, because I know this actor is playing Rose, and I thought I did read that it is actually supposed to be Rose Tyler and not just some other
alternative universe stuff.
I don't know.
Universe Rose.
I don't care. I don't know.
Time Prophet's put a link in the chat. He's reviewed Doctor Who movie. So
Check that out.
Have a look. Yeah. Time Prophet, you're welcome. So this is a transgender actress. I don't know. I don't know.
It will be in accordance with stated gender, so actress. Well, actually, because you're not even supposed to say actress because that's sexist. So it's actor across the board, which at least makes things easy.
Could I get arrested under Title 9?
If you were in the States, possibly. If you were in Scotland, possibly. And if you're in this country in a few years' time, probably. But it's another one of those cases
Can't
where...
help themselves, can they?
Well, they
the
can't, but
BBC.
it's another classic example of the whole representation movement basically undermining the very cause it's supposed to champion. Because for all I know, I've not seen this person in anything. That I think they're in Heartstoppers at the moment, which is getting all rave reviews, but it's getting them all from the predictable people. So that's not necessarily a guarantee it's any good. So I don't know if they're any good or not. And maybe they'll be amazing. Maybe they're a really great actor. But the problem is, though, given the entire
Sorry, Jonathan.
given the entire thing that we have with diversity and representation, you automatically have to ask questions now whenever any diverse actor is cast as to whether they got it because of their merits or they got it because of their skin color or their sexual orientation or their gender status. And it's unfair on them ultimately, because nobody deserves to have these black clouds cast over them. But unfortunately, that I think black clouds is probably a racism now, isn't it? Nobody deserves to have these clouds cast over them. And nevertheless, they will be. It's in everything. Joe Biden nominates a Supreme Court justice and says he wants to have a black woman and the most qualified person. So he nominates a black woman, and everyone says, well, she's not the most qualified person. You just did it because she's black, which is what you said you were going to do. The same thing happens in acting as well. This person could be amazing, and there will always be the question mark as to whether they got the job fairly or unfairly.
Well, it's obvious that she got it unfairly, because you can't tell me thousands of actors in this country who'd probably gone up for that role. You can't tell me that she's better than all of them, or he's better than all of them, wherever you want to prefer him or her to. So no, easy nothing. Yeah, just stop that. So basically, I don't think this person, that's better, isn't it? This person got this role based on his or her performance.
It would be a remarkable coincidence, wouldn't it, if you've had the entirety of Doctor. I mean, Doctor, there have been diverse actors cast in Doctor Who before, but not necessarily that many in leading roles. It would be a remarkable coincidence if Russell T Davies comes back, and it just so happens that the first two and biggest names that they've cast for the two biggest characters both happen to be ticking multiple boxes on any diversity checklist.
Yeah,
it would just be a remarkable coincidence if they, maybe it's not impossible. It's just coincidental.
What's that old saying? If it walks like a duck,
and
it quacks, then
we
it
are
is a duck.
basically living in the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy at the
moment.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. It's ridiculous to assume that Shooty was cast because of his performance and this person as well. I don't believe it, because the chances of that happening is like it's the odds are incredible, because you know how many actors are in this, especially well-known actors. So you can't tell me that Shooty was better than some of the actors that was on that list, because you got seasoned actors that was on that list, because I've seen the list. So
you know the people who were on that
well,
list.
I've seen the list. Yeah, I've seen the list of the people that.
But you're not saying anything, are you?
Nope, because I will get in bigger trouble than calling this person a male. So there you go. So I'll get in bigger trouble than that. So
right, okay. So Andy Mouse, I don't believe either yet. Okay, let's move on then. Hey!
Speaking of trans people, here's one.
Where are the glasses?
Yes, I'm saying, and then we can put you in Quantum Leap.
If I do that and change the hair color to purple or blue, then it would be peak social justice warrior.
Yeah.
Obviously, this is the section of the show that all the peeps in the chats look forward
Run
to
away,
the most.
run while you can.
Because I look forward to this the most. This is where education is brought. Education and knowledge is brought to this channel by Lord Chord.
By the Lord.
It's
Hallelujah.
It's my white male upper class privilege that means I can say bullshit. People automatically assume that I'm telling the truth.
You're not supposed to say anything because you're privileged. You're not supposed to be saying anything.
This is true. I have no opinions. I'm not allowed.
Exactly.
For the 6,000 people watching this at this moment, please type in the chat, "Praise be the lad." I'll start.
If you type it in the comments, then the algorithm will like you more.
Praise be the lad.
The Lord, lad.
There you go, boys. I'll set it off. Right then. So let's see what we got.
Yeah, what have we got?
We always kind of start with Elon Musk news.
Because
This is going back to the. I think we mentioned this last week, didn't we? This fake account spam bots. I think ultimately it's because they're seeing X amount of users, they're kind of equating it with value. But if literally 25% of the company or the users is fake, well, then I think Elon Musk is trying to get it for cheaper, isn't he, Lord?
Well, that one of the arguments is that he's playing hard to get in a bid to drive the price down and therefore pick it up for less money than he originally offered for it. And there is some evidence for that, but that would be an entire supposition, and you can't confirm that. It's a legitimate point to raise on his part, though, because if Twitter sells the business as only 5% being bots, and it turns out to be closer to 20%, as he's suggested here, then effectively you're being offered a very different type of business, and one that's worth fundamentally less than you were sold it as. It's like I think he might have even done this on Twitter himself, comparing it to being sold a house with 6 bathrooms and 5 bedrooms, and turning up and you find that it's got 1 bedroom and half a bathroom. It's not really the same house you were offered. So it's an important thing to clarify. But the reason people are suspecting he might be doing this not entirely honestly is because the way he came up with his 20% figure, from what I recall reading, and it's been a few days since I did, he's gone to a firm which has essentially taken a random sample of not much more than 100 accounts, so an insanely small number that can't possibly be representative, and it's given him this 20% figure, and that's the one he's using. Now, obviously, there are huge problems with the way he's gone about gaining this figure, and that leads you to suspect he's not operating honestly. He is playing a hard bargain here, but it's also unlikely that the number is only 5%. If you go back to 2014, because these stories periodically break. Twitter, I think in 2014 said it was 8%. And then during the coronavirus pandemic, it was predicted that more than half of all tweets on coronavirus were from bots, which would be improbable if it was only 5% of the user base. There have been estimates from Twitter itself that have ranged between 4 and 8% over the last few years. So but the problem is it's just almost impossible to actually know this for sure. So, and a lot of bot activity is genuine activity. Companies use automated accounts all the time, for example. So I think this is all just a case of dark dealing and attempting to force the bid down. Or it could be him just publicity seeking. Maybe he's planning to back out. Who the hell knows? With Elon Musk, you can't tell. But I wouldn't blame him for backing out, because that one on the left, which was the video from, was it Project Veritas, I think, leaked this?
Yes.
He was speaking to some guy behind the scenes who works at Twitter, basically saying everyone hates Elon Musk, they're all communists. They called it Elon Musk special, because Elon Musk has Asperger's. Revealing sort of the cultural attitude behind the scenes that everybody knew existed, but saying the quiet part out loud.
And with regards to the communist video, he goes, well, you can see that. Is this legit?
Well, I mean, these days, when you've got the bad guys and the good guys, and then in the old days, it used to be, the bad guys versus the good guys, and the good guys used to win by, proper means. Today, now, the bad guys are so bad and so clever at twisting the truth.
All bets are off.
Yeah, the good guys sometimes have to break the rules. So that's the state of play in the world today. If you know what I mean.
And so much of it is so revealing of how Twitter operates as a club. So it's not just as a company, but as a club, and the kind of cultural attitude that it has, which is it's astonishingly petty and cloistered and really vindictive and quite nasty about people it doesn't agree with. And work shy as well. It's sort of the worst of big tech. I think in the same video, he reveals that, some people will do maybe 10 hours work a week. And as long as they get something done at some point, no one's really paying attention. No one's really managing the money very much. I mean, their top legal advisor, who burst into tears when she briefed staff behind the scenes that Elon Musk was thinking of taking, takes home something like $2 million. I think it's even more than $2 million a year. And has been giving terrible advice to Twitter executives all the way through. But this is the kind of thing that can exist if you have a cultural, sort of a company culture, which is so alien and immune to outside pressure. It is basically just having a cabal of fairly militant, vaguely left-wing people at the top, and no one can tell them no. Elon Musk comes in and threatens to sack a load of them, and all of a sudden they're panicking as well. They should be.
Andy Mouse, is Musk shagging Heard?
Well, he paid what little amount of money that she was supposed to have donated to the ACLU. He paid whatever it was she paid. She was supposed to pay something like $7 million. And I think there was a small donation of about $700,000. But Elon Musk paid that in her honor, to use her own words, not that she has any of that. So, yeah, I think they were boning at one point, but then apparently half of Hollywood was boning her in the lift at some point. So, you can say.
Time Prophet, can we praise lard? I mean, lard is white. Isn't that, and thank you, Time Prophet, isn't that racist?
Would it help if I just repaint my avatar? I could do that. Transracial, like that Korean guy.
Yeah, it's the world's gone crazy as far as I'm concerned.
And Andy Mouse, I love chips cooked in lard. Yeah, Mother used to cook them back in the 70s. Amazing, but always used to get really bad pimples afterwards.
Pimples?
Yeah, but they used to taste so much better, though, didn't
Amazing.
they?
Yeah,
they used to taste so much better when they were made properly.
Yes. Look who's here, everybody. It's the Jester from Leicester.
Hello, young man. How are you?
Oh, I'm all right, fellas. You used to get pimples, Mr. Brown. You sure it wasn't monkeypox?
Yeah.
Nice.
Who have you been boning in the gay bars?
Are you well, Matthew?
I'm all right. I can't complain. I've been listening to your chatter for the last few minutes while I've been getting ready. Yeah. It's all very interesting, isn't it?
I'll just say, Andy, my mum did too. Yeah, chips, big
you can't beat them, can you? You can't beat
in
them.
lard.
Yeah.
Seriously, it's I think I've gotten used to the oven chips, but I swear when your mum used to make them in that grease and lard and stuff, it used to taste crispy and so much better.
Yeah.
Whenever I go to Wales and see my aunt, right, she always does home cooked chips on the pan. And they taste like nothing else in the world. They're incredible.
Yeah, the lard that used to be about 4 or 5 months old in the chip pan. Yum.
Praise the lard.
Yeah.
Praise the lard. Okay. Matthew, anything you want to add to this, Elon Musk, before we move on?
Not particularly, no. Although I did see something in the Amber Heard trial earlier on, which I'm sure everyone has seen a clip of, where Amber Heard appears to be taking something out of somewhere, maybe a ring or something out of her hand, and putting it in her mouth like a Tic Tac. But except it's not a Tic Tac, so I don't know what's going on there. She's trying to conceal the action of doing it. So if it was
there's been a couple of those. There was one where she was ostensibly blowing her nose as well. I think, to be honest, I think a lot of people are reading that into it, but it would be a baller move to actually take coke in the middle of a live court hearing.
Yeah, there's people saying, "Oh, it's the congealed blood of virgins" or something like that. Anyway.
She looks like she's putting a lot of weight, doesn't she?
Yeah,
I
was watching one of the ones from the footage from her appearance, the court appearance, I think in 2009, and obviously that's a long time ago. But I mean, she looks really beautiful there, and obviously much younger. But she's changed a lot. So if she is, snorting virgin infant blood, then it's not doing her much good.
Well, Johnny Depp's not no rake himself, and he
absolutely not.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, so this dropped 2 days ago, and apparently this is old news, isn't it? Which has come back to the surface because of what's going on with the buyout. Isn't that right, Lord?
Well, it's not so. I don't think it's just the buyout. It's a combination of things. Part of it is the buyout. Part of it is that Elon Musk is very politically active. Part of it is that he came out and publicly said he used to vote Democrat and he's now going to vote Republican. By the way, you can expect some pretty shoddy tactics to be used against me now. Lo and behold, you can set your watch by it. The same day, old sexual misconduct allegations. Misconduct is not abuse or assault or anything like that. I think the allegation is that he once propositioned an airline flight attendant for sexual favors and exposed himself, and she said no. And then Tesla paid about $250,000 to cover that up. This is all an allegation. I'm not even sure that I think even the payoff is an allegation and not a confirmed fact, I think, from what I last saw of it. So we don't really know. It's just not at all coincidental that Elon Musk starts doing things that certain people in the media don't like, and all of a sudden these stories start coming out again. But in response to this, Elon Musk has sort of said, well, sod you, pretty darlings. I'm now going to start my own legal team in-house at Tesla, reporting directly to me. And we are going to go after all of these kinds of allegations. We won't fight them if we think we'll lose, but we won't back down if we think we'll win or something like that. So he seems to be taking it relatively seriously. And it is kind of the only thing you can do. He is lucky to have enough. He has enough money to do this kind of thing. And the problem is all the other people who face these spurious allegations, you can't start their entire legal departments to fight them on their behalf. But at least somebody is out there looking at what is effectively a politicized legal and judicial system in the United States and saying, well, I'm the only person who can actually take you on, so I'm going to now.
The allegations is coming from, as you can see there, the flight attendant's friend.
So it's not even from the flight attendant. Mind you, she probably signed a contract if the payoff was made.
Yeah, NDA, won't it?
Yeah, she's got no leg to stand on, put it that way.
Okay, so we'll kind of move on from this because it's a touchy subject.
They do put a picture of Elon there. He looks a bit suspect, doesn't he?
It does. Okay, so let's see what we've got next. J.K. Rowling in the news again.
She is.
Do you want to explain to the peeps?
I'll do the quick roundup version, which is that so the story isn't really about J.K. Rowling. The story is that a member of the UK's House of Lords, if there are Americans in the chat, the House of Lords is like what your Senate would be if you didn't elect them, and most of them were hereditary, and much like it used to be actually until Roosevelt got in. So a member of the House of Lords, and the House of Lords has people in there who are part of government and ministers and involved in policy making, goes to a school and gives a lecture talking about sort of gender justice and sexual justice and all the rest of it, in which she basically says that trans people in this country have no rights, which is an astonishing claim to make, that they're facing untold oppression, which is just flatly untrue because none of the facts and statistics support it, and that they are effectively an underclass in the country and government needs to do something about it. A girl in the school boldly stood up and said, well, yeah, but there is such a thing as biological sex. And around 60 of her fellow, and I think 100% female classmates, then bullied her out of the school to the extent that she can't go back and she's now having to do her A-levels online. This story broke. J.K. Rowling, who has been quite vocal on these matters, not least as a survivor of domestic abuse and somebody who thinks that, you know, biology is a thing, decided that she would weigh in and take the girl's side, which was good. Again, it's annoying that we have to rely on these rich multimillionaires and billionaires to do all of this stuff, but they are the only uncancelable people in society.
What about the school? What about the headmaster and the aren't they not defending the girl? I mean, what about the biology teacher who basically is the facts about biology? Why isn't he defending the girl?
Well, shouldn't they be out of a job?
Well, we saw what happened. There was the teacher
biology, gone.
Was it the teacher in Batley and Spen? I think it was. There was a teacher who in a class on free speech was talking about, you know, all the scandals about showing cartoons of the Prophet Muhammad. And I think he showed one of the Charlie Hebdo ones to explain what all of that was about. This guy has been in hiding, living in hiding for the last 2 years with fake names, safe houses, and the school said nothing. The teachers' union condemned him and not the crowds of angry parents outside who were basically calling to behead him. So there's no support for schools and for teachers and for lecturers, except for people like J.K. Rowling and others in the media who have a platform big enough that they can't be cancelled. J.K. Rowling obviously cops an awful lot of flack for this kind of stuff. And then you get people in The Guardian, not least Owen Jones, who is the most insufferable little goblin in the planet, who wanted to go and say, he said that the angry mob of 60 girls who bullied this girl out of class hadn't had their side of the story told. So he wanted to speak to them and he wanted to name the school, knowing what would happen if he did that. This is a guy who's supposed to stand up for the little guy. So absolute bastard. But as far as I'm aware, no, the school has provided no support.
But it's against the law, though. Isn't bullying and I just think this is crazy. Isn't there some kind of law that can stop people from being bullied? Like that teacher that you mentioned. Why is he in hiding? Why? You know, has he broken any laws? No.
Well,
so where is
mob rule?
Yeah, so where is the government on this situation? Why aren't they protecting him? Why isn't the law protecting him because he hasn't broken any laws? Why are they allowing people to bully him?
It's a good question. And the weird thing is that actually the law is actually veering more on the side of the bullies in this case, because I don't think there is no specific law saying that you can't, for example, gather outside of a school and protest about something, and that can amount to bullying, and in the event people can go into hiding, but no specific law has been broken, and so it's very difficult to come up with a legal response. Whereas by contrast, if you stand up and say something like sex exists and there are only two sexes, you are much more close to breaking equalities legislation than bullies driving teachers into hiding are to breaking any other kind of law. So actually the law as it stands at the moment, it doesn't fall completely on one side or the other, but it actually does support bullies and not the others.
Go back. What did you say? So if you state a fact, then what?
Yeah. So it's a questionable one at the moment, but the Equalities Act in this country and the Title IX in the United States outlaw discrimination on grounds of sex, sexual orientation. And I think they have added, I know Title IX added transgenderism as well, so gender status. I don't know if the Equalities Act has done that, but there have been cases which have been trying to push it to do that. Because the Equalities Act protects sexual orientation and, to some extent at least, gender identity, it means if you stand up and say there are only two sexes and you can't change them, you are actually contravening the Equalities Act legislation, because you are discriminating against somebody on grounds of gender identity. So, and there is no equivalent law which very clearly states you can't, bully people out of a job.
But the thing is, so in other words, you're going to be condemned by speaking a fact.
Yeah,
that doesn't make any sense. How could that be law?
Well, good intentions and no understanding of consequences, basically. I mean, so much, but a lot of the law does this. So, the same thing is true with sexual orientation. If you say, hate crime legislation is a really classic example. A hate crime it specifically says in the law that you do not need any evidence to support it. The police don't have to investigate it. All you have to do is say you are the victim of a hate crime, and the police will log it as a hate crime with no investigation. And that will automatically go on your record. And if you go for a particular kind of job in schools or the civil service where they do deep background checks, an allegation you've never heard before based on someone's perception, and it doesn't even have to be the victim, it could be anyone who looks at anything and says it might have been a hate crime. That's enough to get it on your permanent record, and that will come up if you're doing background checks on someone applying for a civil service job, and it could potentially see them lose that job or not get accepted for that job.
But how could
it's
that
an astonishing thing.
But how could that be law? That makes no sense. That makes absolutely no sense. How can that be passed as law? And what idiot passed that as a law?
People because this link between campaign groups and legislators essentially means that a lot of people in government only ever hear from campaign groups and pressure groups like Stonewall, for example, if it's gay rights, or the equivalent for women, or the equivalent for this, that, and the other. It's politically popular if you can stand up and you can say, we're going to tackle discrimination, because no one actually likes discrimination in this country. So you can say you're doing that, you pass any kind of measure that does that, you've got the political capital from doing that. And it doesn't really matter if the law you've passed makes sense, because no one's really thinking about sensible laws in government. They're just thinking about what will win them the next election. That's why there hasn't been very much good law done in any area, this area or any other area, for years and years at this point.
Is freedom of speech a law?
No, not in this country. We don't have a First Amendment, unfortunately. The Americans are lucky to have that. But there is no law in this country which explicitly sets out that you have an unalienable right to free speech. And most of these laws, like equality legislation, is specifically designed to abrogate that right. Same thing with hate crimes. Basically, you cannot have hate crimes and free speech in the country.
Then we're screwed.
Yeah, we are. Unless unless, for example, you have a conservative government which says it doesn't like this kind of thing and has an 80-seat majority and could hypothetically do something about it. But notably, we have one of those and they've done nothing. If they're not going to do it, who will?
If Labour get in next time, I fear for this country. And this is coming from an ex-Labour supporter. Time Profit, there is a law to stop bullying, but I was bullied all through school, almost to the point of suicide. So the law is an ass.
It's very disheartening, isn't it? It's very disheartening to hear that the laws that are made up doesn't refer to facts or logic. So I'm really confused over what's happening in this world. It's madness, absolute madness.
Time Profit, we only have the illusion of free speech in Britain.
Time to leave Britain then.
If you can do it. You probably did. I mean, we just had the online safety bill that literally went into law. Well, it was announced in the Queen's speech 2 weeks ago. And this gives Nadine Dorries, our culture secretary, who writes really bad chick flick novels, the power to say it creates a whole category of content called non-criminal hate content, I think it's called, non-criminal hate content. This is content which does not break even hate crime law, but which the government still compels social media companies to take down because it transgresses something, and they won't tell us what it is. So basically, the government has given itself the right to say that this content might be legal, but you're still not allowed to have it online. And you, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, if you don't take that down, we will fine you 15% of your annual turnover. So hundreds of millions of dollars on the whim of Nadine Dorries. And there's a reason no one in chat, I'm pretty sure, will know who she is, because no one should know who she is. She is this irrelevant. She's my local MP, incredibly litigious, no cultural awareness whatsoever, writes terrible novels. And she's now in charge of what you're allowed to say and hear and think. So isn't it lovely to live in a country which respects free speech like we do?
Andy Mouse, society is in a state of flux never seen before.
Yeah, they do say, I mean, Jordan Maxwell himself commented on this change in the status of society and said it's partially to do with I mean, I don't know if anyone believes in astrology or not, but he says it's changed from the age into the age of Aquarius. So there's all this like sort of turmoil and upheaval happens on a cyclical basis, and we're going through the most recent iteration of it at the moment.
Wasn't there a song, The Age of Aquarius?
Yes, in the 60s, I think. In the 60s.
Yeah. I've actually got it running through my head right now, so thank you for that.
Obviously a prophecy then.
I'm very, 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 very not upset but puzzled by the world these days. But that's just me. I'm an old fart. What can I say?
Here you go. Time Profit. Britain is getting more like Russia. In fact, you have more freedom in Russia.
Not anymore.
I'd agree with the first bit of that. The scary thing is that the second bit is coming more true.
Okay, so we'll move on. So thumbs up to JK fighting the good fight. Who remembers Black Lives Matter from 2 years ago? Matthew, you remember that?
I remember build large mansions and burn loot murder. I don't remember Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
So, Lord, how much did you say BLM raised?
So I looked it up between that and this segment, and it was in 2020 alone, it was $90 million, and obviously we've had 2 years worth of fundraising since then. I don't know what the updated figure is, but it's into the hundreds of millions of dollars. None of which but they weren't revealing any of their accounts because their status as a charity was sort of questionable. So they're not really obliged to. And everything that does come out just reveals that they're not spending on anything except themselves, which is what you'd expect because there was no oversight to the creation of that movement. Everyone just sees there's a moral panic. George Floyd's death was, pretty tragic and it looked horrible. There are legitimate questions to be asked about what happens in that case and how the judicial system panned out from that.
Though, wasn't he?
Well, he was also a criminal. There was also, the coroner's testimony said that it wasn't the knee on his neck that killed him, though it definitely didn't help. Overdosing on fentanyl is generally not a good way of staying alive, for example. But then, this whole moral panic, the entirety of the media and civil society organizations and film companies and everyone, I think the Premier League's just finished, spent half of that year with Black Lives Matter emblazoned as the slogan while they're sacking their own staff for expressing political opinions, as though that wasn't one. Everyone jumps in on this in this moral panic, doesn't ask any questions. They just want to be seen to be doing the right thing, give loads of money, don't ask any questions about where it's going. And now it turns out that the only thing they're spending it on is their family members and on very, very expensive houses, which they claim are teaching institutions. It's just notable that they don't have any students or teachers there. So it's entirely predictable and nobody should have been taken in by it, but most of society was.
Fox News America are all over this.
Well, someone should be. It's just a shame it's been left to Fox.
Yeah. Matthew, what did you say BLM stands for again? Big luxurious mansions.
Or buy large mansions, yeah, and also burn, loot, murder. I mean, there are quite a few other acronyms, but they're the two most prominent ones, I think.
Who's collecting all that money, though?
So it's the organization itself.
Who runs the organization?
That's a very interesting question, because there are many. It's designed, so it's actually designed, funnily enough, along exactly the same lines as Al-Qaeda was, in that there's no one organization. There are many chapters, and it denies that there is any central responsibility for any of the individual chapters. But there is some central overarching theme. It was created as a movement by two women who went into the media and said a couple of years before this all happened, yeah, we're trained Marxists, and we're going along Saul Alinsky's lines of protest and all the rest of this. Black Lives Matter comes about and everybody likes it, and then you say it's a left-wing Marxist movement, and everyone says, don't be silly, you're just a conspiracy theorist. And it's like, but there are interviews with the people who created it saying that that's what they are. Just why are you pay attention to your own fucking movement? But nobody does, because it's unfashionable to pay attention to popular movements. As for who runs it, it's a really interesting question. One of the reasons we're only now starting to hear about some of this misspending is because it's a really opaquely run organization. There is no one central thing you can turn to. And it's also very convenient for them, because it means if any one chapter oversteps the mark and does something really ridiculous, like putting out a manifesto calling for the end of the family, then the central unit, when it sees it's politically unpopular, can say, that was just the chapter. It doesn't reflect what we all believe, even though it kind of does, because you say it everywhere. So no one really knows is the short answer to that question.
Is this going to come crashing down? Is the BLM stuff, are they going to be accountable for this? Because it seems to me they're just kind of embezzling all the money for their own means.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Or is that just me?
It does look like it, but again, they'll use the sort of the shifting Babylonic sands of their organization to get away with it, because if anybody does get charged for embezzling, the argument will be made that this was just the actions of an individual rogue chapter. So that little low-ranking official over there, he just throw him under the bus. That's fine, but the overall movement will probably survive it, even if its reputation takes a hit.
Would all the investigating officers have to be black as well?
Probably.
It's the Ezra Miller
excuse. I refuse to be investigated by anyone who doesn't agree with me.
I remember at the time when all this was going on, I was told, bearing in mind I'd just lost my job because of the coup, and I'm not particularly well off, but I was told I said all lives matter, and then I got rounded on by some of my allegedly Facebook friends, some of the most privileged young people, some of the most privileged white young people of a generation, people in kind of like late 20s, early 30s, who have had everything, telling me I should check my fucking white privilege for the fucking week after I'd lost my job.
Christ.
And I'd worked hard all my fucking life for not a lot, to be fair.
I actually told Lost Cord that he should check his white privilege just a minute ago. So yeah.
Yeah, you can discount everything I've just said because my skin is the wrong color.
Yeah. So I was working yesterday and with this actress, and we were talking about her kids and stuff, and then she was talking about gender thing, whatever it is. And I said my piece, and she said, "Ian, you're so old-fashioned." That's what she said to me. So there you go.
I will say, you know what, Time Prophet, you're a good lad. That's all I'm going to say. You're a good lad. So I said the same thing. All lives matter, but these little Marxist motherfuckers decided to tear me down a strip or two. So.
It had impact.
All in the name of this. All in the name of big, luxurious mansions.
That's what it's all about. It's not about racial justice. It's not about equality. It is just about some very sinister and cynical con artists just taking all of society for a ride. Because it was everywhere. And lots of people lost jobs over it. It impacts media and Hollywood as well, because you had a number of people who just, even if they didn't say the wrong thing, weren't publicly saying the right thing enough. It's the Chris Pratt phenomenon again. And then they were hounded until they expressed their support for it. The Premier League's just finished. Black Lives Matter everywhere. Everyone had to wear the Pell badges saying it. Okay, you're going off to play the World Cup in Qatar this year, where 400 odd people have died who are actual slaves. And you're really? Rich Premier League football players, Marcus Rashford, who earns 300-something thousand pounds a week, and then gets favourable tax treatment, which effectively allows him to avoid paying the tax he probably should be paying. He's going to be lecturing us on income inequality. Hollywood actors are going to be lecturing us on income inequality. They're all going to get around and sing Imagine.
There was a French football player this week who refused, a black French football player.
Yeah.
I don't know what club it was.
PSG.
Not bright. Yeah, he refused to take the knee, didn't he?
No, it was a rainbow thing. It was one of the gay.
It was the rainbow thing, wasn't it?
The
He
LGBT
refused
ones, because he's a black Muslim. I think he's Ghanaian of descent. Idrissa Gueye, which is funny because his name sounds like gay. But it's he refused to play in a shirt with a rainbow badge on it because he's Muslim and actually takes his faith seriously. I don't like that, but I respect his right to do it. He refused to do that, and he's been pilloried right, left, and center. There's no
told to write apologies and everything.
Yeah,
this is bullying in a global scale, isn't it? I mean, it's
all
horrible.
In the name of rainbows,
it's horrible to make us, comply to what these people actually think in their minds, which isn't a fact. So it's just really weird what's going on in the world. But as I said, I've probably got another 20 years on this planet, and then I'm gone. So good luck to everybody.
I think next month is the most insufferable month, isn't it?
Oh no!
For what?
Pride Month. It's Pride Month
coming. I don't. But before all this stuff happened, it was fine. Pride Month.
Yeah, it was great fun.
Yeah.
I had some great times at Pride
Up until the corporations got involved. Here you go. Time Profit. Even a lot of gays do not like the rainbow flag.
Yeah, I'm technically an alphabet person, and I do not like the rainbow flag, and I do not like the LGBTIAZQ plus movement, and I do not like what Pride has become. And besides being, I've read the Quran, unlike most Muslims, so it sentences me to death 4 times in its opening 20 pages, which is a bit much, but I still object to people turning around to, people like Idrissa Gueye, the footballer, and telling you that, no, sod your private faith. You have to conform politically, and you have to display all of the messages. Yeah. Like, I really dislike his faith, but I absolutely respect his right to hold it. And no one should try and supplant his religion with a modern woke religion, which compels him to basically betray his own faith. That's just wrong.
And I totally agree with you. I think you've said it quite well there, better than the way I could say it.
That's why he's on the channel, educating us all.
But then again, he is white privileged, so he shouldn't really be saying anything.
He's the lad. The lad. He's got a privilege card, though, hasn't he? The lad.
The last time someone told me to check my privilege, unironically, I just patted my pockets and said, "Yep, I've still got it."
Swappers, anything you want to add before we leave this hot topic behind?
Not really. No, I think the lad has covered it. Really, I was just doing a bit of browsing in the background to see if I could find anything new. But no, I think we can move on from this one. To be honest with you,
I think this BLM stuff is a story that's going to run and run and run for a while.
Do you know what?
Sorry.
I think things like this happening in the world, it just makes you hanker to have a time machine, go backwards in time, just to experience, the good stuff. Because it's just getting more complicated and more complicated. I can't believe that people think that whatever they think, they are it, or they are what they think, and it's just weird. It doesn't make any sense to me,
Without sounding like an old fart, and I think Time Prophet will agree, there are probably everybody in the chat has worked hard all their life to get what they've got. Yeah. No privilege, no nothing. Yeah.
If you look carefully, though, the whole school system was kind of like teaching you to be, to work in the system.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Working in the system does not help at all. So,
but you've got they're just fucking scam artists. These people, they're very clever. That they saw an opportunity and they took it, and there you go. Patrice Cullors paid her baby father $1 million. for
creative services.
Yeah,
is that
I wish somebody
pay.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Is it design stuff? I wish somebody paid me $1 million to do
just
some
goes
design.
just goes to show that you can't really trust anything that the media or the so-called access media shows you anymore. No, can't trust nothing.
And that's what will happen with this story. This story it'll be dripped in. Occasionally you'll find things on the Mail and on Fox, which are the only places in the mainstream that will cover it. And then you'll get the rest of the mainstream organizations which backed Black Lives Matter to the hilt, just saying, oh, it's a right-wing smear campaign because it's only reported in the Mail and Fox. Well, that's only true because you guys aren't reporting it. CNN. So obviously it's going to only be repeated on right-wing sites because a large faction of the left-wing media has just decided that truth doesn't matter. What matters is message and the narrative.
The message. Time Prophet, it's only the last 2 years I haven't worked. Same here, mate. I started work before I left college. Same here. I've just worked solid. And then solid for 30 years. And then boom, the adjustment came.
The Adjustment Bureau.
So moving on. Turd.
So has she been fired from this film, the sequel?
It looks like it. It says court documents reveal once and for all that Johnny Depp and his lawyer never tried to get Turd fired from Aquaman.
Is that what the whole case was all about? Or is it more complicated?
Part of it.
That's part of it. It's a defamation case. So the allegation is that Amber Heard planted stories in the press about domestic violence, unsubstantiated allegations about domestic violence against Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp's tried twice, I think, at least twice, to bring a defamation case against him. We tried it in the United Kingdom in, I think, the late 2000s, and he's trying it again now. And there's a countersuit because now I think Amber Heard is accusing him of defamation for denying that he did it. And it's a very, very messy thing. But I think I would be surprised if she appears in Aquaman 2 because Jason Momoa hates her. Like, he's been on Instagram covering the court case and calling her a liar.
Wow.
So if Aquaman himself can't, I just cannot see how it's. Yeah, no, you can see his Instagram stuff. It's astonishing. He's overtly taking a side. He's watching it, making noises, and just saying liar every now and then. So it's kind of hard to see how, if they had a lack of chemistry before, that it will get any better with Aquaman 2.
Swappers, do you want to read Time Prophet's comments, please?
They didn't want they didn't want turd in the water. I was going to say they didn't want a turd in the water, but yeah, I can totally agree why they wouldn't.
Well done, Time Prophet.
Well, it's really funny because the first time I saw her was in a film called Drive Angry, and she looked freaking stunning in that film.
She's on there. She looks fit as fuck, but it's just poison.
She just looks horrible. Yeah, she looks horrible now, though. Never mind.
Poisoned fruit, folks.
Just there to show how easily we can all be fooled, isn't it?
Yeah. The court cases, there's been gripping stuff that comes out of that, and some really,
Oh, yes,
but the thing is, though, obviously, people are invariably falling into one of two camps. Either you back Amber Heard to the hilt, or you back Johnny Depp to the hilt. The reality is, neither of these people come out well from this trial. Johnny Depp is an absolute mess. He's been unpleasant to her, undeniably, because his own lawyers have admitted certain aspects of that. He is a messed up guy, and none of these people, neither of these people, more than demons. I mean, he snorts a demon's worth of cocaine apparently every night with a pint of red wine. So, no one is coming out of this well. They are both completely messed up, and I think it's obvious to see. You can see why people are taking this side because the allegations is it's a disparate treatment. If a man was accused of what Amber Heard has now been accused of in this court case, he would never have worked again. I mean, Johnny Depp was axed from his films based on the strength of her word, and no one has made any public moves to sack her based on the testimony that's come out in court earlier and since then. So there's this perceived dual treatment, and the fact that men generally in society, but also including in Hollywood, have a much tougher time of it than women do. And especially when a lot of her allegations seem not to be substantiated and designed purely to boost her own reputation. So you can see why people are taking sides. It's just that in the final analysis, once all this is done, whatever the verdict happens to be, you probably shouldn't come away from this thinking Johnny Depp is an angel and she is the devil, because that's not true.
Was there a Twitter link for a paper magazine, or was it The Guardian or something, saying why we should believe Amber Heard. Did you see that?
Yeah, I think
People were just piling on top of them and saying, we believe Johnny Depp, she's fucking poisonous.
Well, the argument that I think they actually said we should believe her even if she is an, I quote, imperfect witness, because this is the fate of Me Too. And that's the other reason people are taking such sides, because Me Too was a staggeringly dishonest campaign of vilification, which is designed to sway the entire judicial system.
J.J. Abrams' wife.
Yeah. So that's the other thing. But basically, they're saying it doesn't matter if she is lying about some of it, or if she's actually not a good witness, or she's actually a really bad person, because Me Too now hinges on her, so we have to back her anyway. And that's not a sane or sensible way to approach issues of justice.
Okay, before we move on, the real star of this court case is Depp's female solicitor. She's been a fucking star.
Ms. Vasquez has been quite effective, and Amber Heard's lawyer has not been good at all. To the extent where I think at one point Amber Heard refused to go and sit next to her after a particularly bad performance.
Oh, wow.
And then they publicly made a hug at their next appearance to show that everything was fine between them. And it's
do we know when this is going to end?
Soon.
It is soon. I think defense has, because they do it by hours, and I think Amber Heard's team only had about, I might get this the wrong way around, I think they only had about 8 hours of testimony left, and then Depp's team had at least twice that. But it's basically, I think there'll be another week of it. I don't know where it goes after that.
She was on Top Gear once many years ago. Okay.
Was she really?
Yeah,
yeah, it was because she was promoting Drive Angry, wasn't she?
Yeah. Okay, so we'll move on.
That wasn't a bad film. Drive Angry. Very cheesy.
We'll just quickly mention Disney stocks. They're still going down.
Well, are we surprised?
You mean,
I don't think so.
You mean all the Vanity Fair pieces about new Star Wars haven't saved them?
I was just talking to Dan about that on the phone, and you've heard of Beyonce being in the middle, right? You heard that old saying? Beyonce's always in the middle. So, what was the band that Beyonce came from? I can't remember.
Destiny's Child.
Destiny's Child. Every time you saw a picture of Destiny's Child, Beyonce's always in the middle. Because she is the focus of that group. Yeah. She is the one. She is the star.
We mentioned that on the
right. So when you look at that Vanity Thing poster, you have the star on the right, and the other guy, and the black woman is in the middle. So what does that say? About the show?
Yeah, we said, Matthew, God is my witness. We were on about that on Friday, weren't we?
We were indeed, mate.
Mm-hmm.
Obi-Wan in his own show on the sidelines.
Yeah, he's going to be. He's not going to be the one that protected Luke. It's going to be the black woman. And it's going to be this. It's going to be that. And you can just. It's again, just not worth watching.
It does make me wonder. It does make me wonder what the people around the board table at Disney Kennedy Film are all thinking of the reactions to all this. There must be people just sitting there going, they've cottoned onto it. They know what we're going to do. What happens? What do we do? What do we do now? We're just going to have to play it. We're just going to have to, put it out there like they did with Masters of the Universe and just hope for the best.
On the Drinkers channel tonight, they kind of said they feel sorry for Ewan McGregor and Aiden Christian.
Why? Yeah. They're getting paid a lot of money. Why would you feel sorry for them?
But they've been... there is that. Yeah, there is that.
Yeah. No. Ewan McGregor is for the side of the woke stuff. He starred in that stupid, what is it, Birds of Prey film. What is it? The one with, that one. And he was complicit in that. So he doesn't really care. He's getting money. He doesn't care. I don't know about Christian, though.
I mean, fundamentally, that's what they're there for, is to get cash, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. They don't care.
Yeah.
But Hayden Christensen has been saying, he's really kind of warmed his heart with the reaction from the fans and how everyone's been sending him great messages and things. They're really glad to see him back and stuff. And it's like, well, yeah, he would say that. Really, he's been out of it for so long, and
that's right.
And it kind of did make him prominent in the entertainment scene. But I think ultimately, yeah, they're just glad to get money, but I think they know that this is going to go south. It's not going to go how fans want it to, and they're kind of good in their loins, ready for it.
Yeah, I mean, if you haven't been fed for a very long time and you're given a Ritz cracker, it's going to be the best food you ever taste,
Starving man, yeah.
isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, starving man analogy.
That's what's happening with Christian, isn't it? He's not done anything. Now the fans all like, oh, blah, blah, blah. He's lapping it up, isn't he? Mm-hmm. So he doesn't care if the show's going to be woke. He cares about
You saw Ian McDermott at the Star Wars Celebration when they showed the trailer for The Rise of Shitewalker. And it was just basically him just coming out on stage and doing what he was told and sort of smiling at it and thinking, oh, look at all the fans all cheering for it. And, the smart people all knew where it was going to go. But all the stupid normies around there all going, yeah, oh my God, it's the best thing ever. And there were people in the audience, I do believe, because I know people that were there, were saying, who's he? Who's this old man? That's the kind of level of the people that they were aiming at for these movies. So there you go, really. That's big.
Okay, we'll move on from this.
Just quickly, because there was the comment earlier. Was it Melvin's comment about the entire stock market going down? So you shouldn't read too much into Disney's price. That is true. But the interesting thing about twofold interesting thing about Disney. Its stock price began dropping before the general stock market collapse happened, and it was tied very, very closely to all of the ongoing business in Florida. So Disney is a special case. And B, it's also proof that none of its new offerings are arresting the slump, which is basically what they were designed to do. Disney Plus is designed to give the company long-term sustainability and profit. And to reassure worried investors that it has a viable business model going forward. Disney Plus has been failing to accrue anything like the numbers of subscribers that they promised they would get. And the fact that the line is so steep and stark suggests that nothing they can do is actually fixing it. So you can read into, even you're right, you can't read too much into a general stock market collapse. But the date at which Disney slump started was interesting. Same thing with Netflix's. The rate of decline compared to the rest of the stock market is also interesting. And the fact that none of their products are doing anything to stop it is, again, likewise interesting. So you can read some stuff into it.
They need to start making good programs again.
They don't care. They're going to carry on doing. They're going to double down. They're going to carry on doing this nonsense.
Triple down.
Yeah, that's what they're going to do.
Speaking of good programs, we've got rid of all the newsy stuff. Ian, did you see this week?
I haven't seen because it doesn't on Sky. It's tomorrow.
It's last.
Oh, the last one.
Episode 3.
Yeah, episode 3 I saw. Yeah.
Episode 4 drops tonight.
Yeah, I'm going to watch that tomorrow morning. But episode 3 was great, absolutely terrific. But just a little bit of woke creeping in, but it's good. It's still good.
You think so? I think.
Yeah, just a little.
I think that could be part of the story, though.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. But it's still good though. Still worth the watch. And again, I urge people to watch this. Start with season 1 and season 2, and then this one, and you'll see what I mean. Put it that way. So there you go.
Again, the 30-minute thing. I was sat down watching it, munching my toast as you do.
Yeah. Just
as it got going, it's finished.
But it's as I said, it's well worth your time. It's a phenomenal show. And I don't say that lightly.
This is the reason why I'm waiting for loads of episodes to queue up so I can just go back and blitz it all.
Yeah.
Well, it's 2 series you can have a go at.
Yeah, that's not good enough for me because I know I'm going to do those in 5 minutes.
Well, I did the first two seasons in 2 days. It was
there you go. Yeah, I'm going to wait for the 3rd season to finish.
I'll just say to everybody in the chat and the 11,000 people watching this, check out Barry. You will not be disappointed.
It's the greatest, best kept secret, isn't it, out there?
You will not be disappointed. Season 1. Excuse my French, is fucking awesome.
It's also well directed. The way it's directed it's really good, and you probably go over the heads of normies when they watch this. But as a filmmaker, I can see every shot is thought of to actually express a mood and an emotion. So it's really well directed. That won't matter to normies, but if you watch this show, you really will be entertained if you watch the show and get involved.
I'm a bit of a normie. I know it's quality.
Yeah, it's quality. Yeah.
It is. Guys, check it out. You will not be wasting your time. 30-minute episodes, 8 episodes per season. Beautiful.
I know Lost Chord has to watch all these really bad shows like Kenobi and all that, but you know, I know you have to do it for your your what is it, stream. But if you ever get the time, you should really.
Lord's okay now because he doesn't even need to do anything, and he gets 300 subs just by doing nothing. The arrogance of the man.
But it's good. I mean, you must be pushing some button for people to sub to your channel.
Not the upload button.
Yeah, you must be doing something right to actually get the subs and stuff.
I hope so. It's and we're doing it. We get quite a lot of comments now saying, "I'm really glad you reviewed this because it means I don't have to watch it," which means I'm taking viewers away from Paramount and Star Trek. So I'm doing my bit in the great fight against these bastards.
Jonathan Frost. Okay, will do. Jonathan, check it out, mate. You check that first season out and then come back next week and just tell us how good it is. It's fantastic.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You do it, my friend. You will not be disappointed. Right. Okay, so moving on.
We'll give you your money back.
Yeah.
I thought last week's episode was the mid-season break, but it's not. It's tomorrow. So again, it was a bit of a kind of slow burn filler episode. Some Gustav Fring going on and Salamanca in Germany, trying to find out what's going on. This week's episode tomorrow is the mid-season break, so I'm assuming it is going to kick off and leave us hanging. But again, well directed, great story. Bob Odenkirk's fantastic.
He's always good, that fella.
It's just quality.
He used to write for comedy shows, didn't he? He used to be a writer before he started acting in front of the screen. Yeah.
Sundays and Mondays for TV. Barry Sunday, Better Call Saul for Monday. Brilliant. So we will move on from that one. This finished this week. Halo. The season finished.
Halo.
Lord, did you see the last one then?
In preparation for this stream, I watched the last 4 episodes that I hadn't seen back to back.
Taking one for the team.
My God.
Was it awful?
Spoilers, by the way.
I just don't know. Like, yes, it was bad, but it's one of the. If it was not called Halo, it would not exist.
Yeah.
On its own terms, it is without merit. There's nothing interesting about it. The story is derivative. The effects are highly questionable. Even their big budget action sequences look slightly dodgy, but they've spent really so much money. Yes, so much money has gone on it, and
$100 million.
And like I'm slightly in a peculiar position because I think I played the first Halo when it came out originally, and I've played a couple of them since. But I'm not a big into the lore. I'm not a huge Halo nut, so I could sort of watch this with. I could watch it with 2 hats on, one knowing a bit about Halo and the other with a newbie basically. And in wearing neither of those hats did this thing work. It doesn't work on its own, and it doesn't work for Halo. In fact, it works worst when it tries to be Halo because it wrecks what I do know about the lore. The fact that you can get to the end of season 1 of Halo, having basically emasculated Master Chief and turned him into a robot
zombie,
and without ever seeing Halo, what was the point? And then it's just a staggeringly pointless show. That's the thing. It's not even the most offensively bad thing on TV. It's just entirely pointless.
The first thing that went wrong with this program was he took his helmet off in the first episode.
Just like
yeah.
No, I was about to say just like Judge Dredd for Sylvester Stallone's version.
Yeah. As I said, take the helmet off, but the viewers should not see his face.
No, of course not.
Right, so they could have got away with that. I've not really had a problem with the kind of story. I knew it was going to be different to the game. I've quite enjoyed it, if I'm honest.
On its own merits, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Outside.
But at the end, in a nutshell, Master Chief being a male, this fucking super soldier, couldn't save the day on his own. So a strong virtual, get this, virtual whamming on 1 hour 30, yeah, not a real one, virtual whamming, saved the day. So we don't know where Master Chief is at this moment.
Can you imagine if it gets another series? It won't be Master.
Well, it's got another series.
It won't be him inside the suit, will it? It'll either be like some
Or
be a woman in it,
or it'll just be a Cortana like puppeting the suit and making people believe there's someone in it.
I suspect that the through arc will be her attempting to find a way to sort of reactivate his consciousness. I suspect that will be a big thing in season 2. Yeah. But I think even on its own terms, like nothing in it was that good. I mean, there are so many arcs that it picks up and then just forgets, and then it takes so much time away from what it's supposed to be, its principal sort of through line, to do side narratives about basically Native Americans reclaiming their home planet, and then not really doing anything with that. None of the people in it can act, which doesn't help. All of the costumes look like they're made of plastic, and they invent a huge number of ancillary characters who are vaguely cartoonish in their motivations, in that they don't really have motivations. The whole thing is just very silly.
Forward and to Dawn was better.
Oh yeah.
There you go. Time Profit. If you want to watch real Halo, Forward Unto Dawn and Halo: The Fall of Reach. I've not seen Fall of Reach. I need to check that out. This program could have been fantastic.
Yeah.
But the message has butt fucked it.
How many times have we said that?
Well, yeah, there is that. I don't know if it's because the thing is, there's not really a message in Halo, I don't think. I mean, you can find the bits like, Cortana taking over and the fact that they have to invent
Halsey, a woman, she's the paddy, isn't she?
Yeah,
but she'll have a redemption arc.
No, she probably will. She's also the mastermind behind the entire thing. And yeah, they invent another Spartan, a couple of other female Spartans who, objectively strong, characterless female people. But there isn't really, it's not shouting message at you all the time. It doesn't even bother to do that. It just doesn't do anything. The problem is more like the problem that you saw with the Star Wars sequels or anything else that's come out recently, where they've deliberately said, we are going to discard the entirety of the lore. We're not going to play the games. We don't want to do anything that's been done before. This is our fresh take on this IP, which is basically, we've got together as a writing committee and said, this is some generic sci-fi plot. What label can we slap on it that will get people to watch it? Well, no one's doing anything with Halo anymore, so we'll have that. Thank you very much. And we're not going to listen to any of the creators' input as to whether, what we should use, what we shouldn't do, to the extent that one of the original creators, I think, came out on social media this week and said that it does not resemble the thing he made, because it fucking doesn't. They deliberately said, no, we're not going to do anything that's been done before. So you have all of these old stories, which I gather are very good. Fall of Reach, Forward Unto Dawn. You have all the lore of the video games, and none of it is in this at all. Like, I vaguely remember, I think I was like 10 when did the first Halo come out? Was it 2000?
It's basically 21 years old.
Yeah, so I must have been.
It was the game before was it was called Marathon on the Mac.
Yeah.
So it's the kind of Halo kind of marathon stuff has been around for about 25 years.
But I played the first one, and I probably wasn't old enough to really understand the story of it. But the thing that always stuck with me was the setting and the context and the implied lore and the backstory of the Halo ring. And the fact you can go all the way through season 1 of Halo and not have it at all, even in the end. I think you get a glimpse of it as a reflection through his visor at the end.
We've not even seen it. Yeah, I've not even seen it properly. We know the location and the galaxy it's in, but
and instead, what do you get? Well, you get discount Tatooine, and we've had so much of that. Nobody cares. Give us the stuff that people want to see. Tell a new story, but at least have the good grace to keep the world as it's supposed to be, because the world was one of the most appealing things about the games.
Yeah. I'll just give you a little tidbit as well. Bungie, the original creators of Halo, this week were bought by Sony. Bearing in mind that Bungie were always kind of, I think were they owned? Did they get bought
They
out?
got bought out
by Microsoft.
Yeah, so Bungie became a Microsoft thing, but then Bungie was supplanted.
They walked away, didn't they, from Halo?
I'm trying to remember the name of the company I want to say
343 Industries.
343 Industries, that's the one. And actually, 343 has been in charge of Halo longer than Bungie was in charge of Halo now, which is part of the reason I gather the games are going downhill. But even they went in apparently and sat with the writers of this show and said, this is the core of the product. This is what you should be doing. And the writers said, okay, and we're going to ignore all of that.
Yeah. Anyway, missed opportunity, but it'd be interesting to see what happens for season 2.
Yeah.
Moving on. Ooh, so this was episode 3, wasn't it, that dropped this week?
It was.
It was. What did you think?
Episode 3 was objectively a dud. It is not a good episode at all. It was very, very silly. Didn't need to exist. Didn't have a story to tell. It was not, I think, crucially objectionable in the way that Picard and Discovery are. It wasn't objectionable particularly for message. It was just a dud episode. And lots of shows have dud episodes. This has had its first dud episode. 1 and 2, I still think, were all right. 1 was good. 2 was all right. 3 was a dud. And it was not a dud with bad intent. It was just a dud because it was poorly written. And they are having different writing teams and directors in for each episode. So I don't think it should be allowed to damn the show. It's just we hope it's a one-off. If it carries on like that, then it will go downhill very quickly.
They nicked the backstory for number 1 from a expanded universe book by DC Fontana.
Oh, really?
And they didn't even give her a credit on the production. And Robert Meyer Burnett was saying that's bad form.
That was pretty shoddy.
Yeah.
Didn't I see his name connected with the show at some point?
Yeah, because the kind of twatter community and Trekkies wanted him to show run Star Trek because he's had dealings. He did all the Blu-rays for Next Generation.
No, they didn't want him. There was a job going, and he was asking his fans whether he should apply for the job.
But he's been totally blocked by CBS.
Yeah, I wonder why.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the first two were creditable, I think, and they had the makings of not a great series by any means, but certainly an inoffensive one, and it has still so far avoided all of what made Picard and Discovery so terrible. I know some of the criticisms are that it's just a simulacrum, or it just looks like Star Trek, but there's nothing particularly new that it's doing, and I understand that criticism, but it's about. I also think that criticism is massively overblown. So if you've come off 2 series, Discovery and Picard, which in their own unique ways have decided to shit on the entire franchise, and then you get one that says, I'm not going to shit on the franchise anymore, and I'm going to try and make it look a bit like the thing you want, that is progress. It's not perfection, but it is progress.
I'd have to disagree with you there. Basically, what you're doing is you're actually agreeing that Discovery and the other crappy ones exists within this universe, within this show. So by accepting that show, you're accepting the stuff that's come before it as well, because they do mention it, whatever. And I can't do that. I can't watch a show and accept the other crap that came before it, because that's what you're doing. You're endorsing what came before if you watch this show. So I have to disagree with you there, but we have to disagree, right?
No, of course. I mean, I can see why, but on the other hand, so there are 2 ways you can come at a series like this. There's the point of its story. You can critique its continuity, in which case, yeah, I can take your point, absolutely. You can also critique it, understanding that, but critique it on its own technical level and in its own right, and the decisions that it makes, which might consciously try and correct for mistakes that were made in other previous shows. it depends whether you want, as you say, to give validity to previous storylines by critiquing this on the level of its story. And I can see why people would want to do that. I'm not in a position to do that because I have to watch this stuff anyway, but also because I think it is worth also criticizing these things on their own terms. So for something like, if you take the Star Wars example, The Rise of Skywalker was shit on its own terms. The Rise of Skywalker also went out of its way to shit on The Last Jedi. And to say that The Rise of Skywalker was bad because it was in continuity with The Last Jedi, I don't think was the most interesting thing you could say about it, given that it obviously hated The Last Jedi. So it's interesting to note when shows take different tracks and when they do appear to be consciously trying to correct for prior mistakes. And I think Anson Mount himself has said in an interview, he said, because they were criticized for using footage of the January 6th insurrection in episode 1. And he said that the point of Star Trek is to address these issues, but he also said not to preach about them. And that is a much welcome departure from the approach taken by the previous two shows.
Isn't that what
Not in this one so far. Not in this one so far. I don't doubt they'll get there.
Occasionally, it's frustrating because occasionally,
look, if this show's a huge hit,
it slaps you around the face with it, and I don't like it.
If this show's a huge hit, then that just gives them another doorway to say, yeah, Discovery is part of the Star Trek universe, and was it Lower Decks and all the crap that's come before it. And I don't want to be part of that, and I don't think any real Star Trek fan would want to be part of that as well. So, as I said, by people watching it, they're actually endorsing what's come before it and saying it's part of the Star Trek universe, which I don't really want to do. But as I said, it's up to people what they want to do at the end of the day. But for me, I've got scruples. I don't want to.
To be fair, though, with Discovery, season 1, okay, I can, with what happened, I could just about tolerate it. Season 2 of Discovery, I quite liked it. It was entertaining.
Yeah, there were things that were okay, which is why
it was complete, hogwash, but I enjoyed it as a piece of entertainment. And then 3, it just went off the fucking deep end.
Yeah,
I didn't like the first. I mean, I watched the first season, thought it was okay. Second season was absolute rubbish. Third season was even worse. So that's where I stood. And then Picard, I think it was the first. I watched the whole first season because I had to, because I was on the live stream. Thought that was terrible. And why would I? Why would I watch the rest? Come on.
I think with Picard, 1.5 episodes, and that was enough for me.
Yeah, it's terrible. Absolutely terrible.
And then watched episode 1, season 2, and I thought, oh, okay. And then it just went shit.
But don't you see what they're doing? So basically, they've created this show, and they're trying to appease to the old fans. And as I said, by accepting this, you're endorsing what went before. And it's the same thing with Picard as well. They put an advert. They're going to bring all the members of Next Generation back, and that's the same thing they're doing with that as well. So they're going to put that show out, and if fans go to it because of the nostalgia thing, that means they're endorsing what went before. And as I said, if you're a real Star Trek fan, you can see that coming a mile away. Why would you even bother watching the show? But then again, I would say this.
Can you not also, though, apply that argument to any future seasons of, say, Doctor Who? Because by watching...
Yes, definitely. Definitely. I will give this new guy this one episode, and if I'm not happy with it, I'm leaving it. I'm just like saying no, I'm not going to watch it. Why bother?
Swappers, anything to add? Because I think this is the last slide.
To this, no, I'm just staying a billion miles away from it.
I don't blame you.
That's it, folks. The eye test is on screen, so please consider donating to the channel. Links in the description, pin message, blah, blah, blah. Please like, share, subscribe, and all that, especially if you're watching this on the re-rub from the recommendations on YouTube. Please support my tiny little channel with a subscription. That will be absolutely fantastic. So chat, you are absolutely wonderful as per usual. Absolutely top draw. Always the same faces, so much to offer, so much to add. So truly I appreciate you attending. I'll thank the guests. Swappers, thank you.
You're welcome, sir. Good chatting to everybody, and good seeing the audience here as always. Yeah, appreciate it, Mr. Brown.
Lord Cord, thank you.
Thank you as ever.
Cheers, mate. Appreciate you coming on. And last but by no means least, wise elder of the channel, writer, director, portal, blah, blah, blah. He likes Selfridges. It's Ian David Diaz, the Mega Geek.
Yep. Thank you. No worries.
Cheers, my friend. I think that's it. Star Wars Day. Is it Wednesday, Matthew? Star Wars Day? The official one?
Thursday.
Thursday. Right.
25th.
We are...
Yeah.
20. Is it the 25th?
It is.
Okay, so that's Wednesday.
Is it? I thought it was Thursday.
Yes. So Wednesday. Whatever Star Wars Day is, we've got something special.
Oh, you're right. It is. Yeah. You're right. Absolutely.
I do believe we're celebrating a birthday as well on that day.
Possibly.
And on that bombshell, we will be back Wednesday with something very, very special. So we'll see you then. Take care, everybody. Tatty bye.